What's up, YouTube? It's Reggie, and today we're on First Kings chapter 3. It says, And Solomon made a firmity with Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and took Pharaoh's daughter and brought her into the city of David until had made an end of his own house, and the house of the Lord, and a wall of Jerusalem round about. Only the people sacrificed in high places, because there was no house built on to the name of the Lord until these days. And Solomon loved the Lord, walking in the statutes of David his father. Only he sacrificed burnt incense in high places. And the king went to Gibeon to sacrifice there, for there was a great high place, and 1,000 burnt offerings did Solomon offer upon the altar. So right now he's found favor with the Lord. I mean, not found favor, but he's following how God says to live and walking in his ways. It says, In Gibeon the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream by night, and God said, Ask what I shall give thee. And Solomon said, Thou hast shewed unto thy servant David my father great mercy, according as he had walked before thee in truth and righteousness and uprightness of his heart with thee. And thou hast kept for him this great kindness, that thou hast given him a son to sit on his throne, as it is this day. And now, Lord, O Lord, my God, thou hast made me thy servant king, instead of David my father, and I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or come in. And thy servant is in the midst of thy people, which thou hast chosen, a great people that cannot be numbered nor counted for multitude. Says, Give therefore thy servant an understanding, a heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge thy thy so great a people? And the speech pleased the Lord, that Solomon had asked this thing. And God said unto him, because thou hast asked this thing, and thou hast not asked for thyself long life, neither has asked for thyself riches for thyself, nor has asked the life of thy enemies, but has asked for thyself understanding to discern judgment. Behold, I have done according to thy words. I have given thee a wise and understanding heart, so that there was none like thee before thee, and neither after thee shall any arise like unto thee. And I have given thee that which thou hast not asked, both riches and honor, so that there shall not be any among the kings like thee unto thee all thy days. So, what this tells me is that God sees our heart. He loves when we put others before ourselves. Too many times we prioritize our needs before God's needs, like seeing, God, what do you want done? But when you focus on God and just asking him what he needs, that's when he can put us first and let us know what we need to do for his kingdom's sake. Because it says, seek the kingdom first, everything else will be added onto you. That means when you follow God's plan, he will provide everything you need because he knows what you need before you even ask. It says, If thou wilt walk in my ways, to keep my statutes and my commands, as thy father David did, well, I will lengthen thy days. And Solomon awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And he came to Jerusalem and stood before the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and offered up burnt offerings, and offered peace offering, and made a feast to all his servants. So he gave God thanks after the dream. Says, Then came two women that they were harlots unto the king and stood before him. And the woman said, O my lord, I and this woman dwell in one house, and when I was delivered of a child with her in this house. And it came to pass a third after the day that I was delivered, that this woman was delivered also. And we were together, and there was no stranger with us in the house, save we two in the house. And this woman's children died in the night, but she overlaid it. And she arose at midnight, and took my son from beside me, while thy handmaid slept, and laid it with her in her bosom, and laid her dead child in my bosom. When I rose in the morning to get my child sunk, behold, it was dead. But when I considered in the morning, behold, it was not my son, which I did bear. So basically, both of these women are trying to say they're one child died, one's alive, and they're both trying to say the alive child is theirs. Okay, so that's the situation going on right now. Says, Then said the king, no, it says, And the other woman said, Nay, but the living is my son, and the dead is thy son. And they said, No, but the dead is thy son, and the living is my son. Thus they spoke before the king. Then they said to the king, The one saith, This is my son that liveth, and thy son is dead. The other saith, Nay, but thy son is dead, and my son is living. And the king said, Bring me a sword. And they brought a sword before the king. And the king said, Divide the living children in two, and give one half to the other, and the half to the other. And then the woman whose the living child was unto the king, for her bowels yearned upon her son. And she said, O my lord, give her the living child, in no way slay it. But the other said, Let it be neither mine nor thy, but divide it. Okay, this, I can see how this was wise, because a true mother wouldn't want her son to be killed, because if you divide it, the son's still going to die. Like, you're just going to have remnants of both. But the one that didn't care about if it was divided just showed that it wasn't her son, because she would have had that. She wouldn't have wanted them both to lose their son. She would have just put the son's life first. And it says, Then the king answered and said, Give her the living child, and in no way slay it. She is the mother thereof. And all Israel heard the judgment which the king had judged, and they feared the king, for they saw the wisdom of God was in him to do judgment. So God gave him the discernment to be able to tell who was in the right and who was in the wrong in that situation. And I think about how this whole chapter, God went to Solomon asking what he wanted, and instead of prioritizing himself, he said, I want wisdom to be able to guide my people, to be able to judge good and bad, to be a better king. So he put what God had put him in position to do first. He didn't try to prioritize himself. So we need to humble ourselves to realize we should prioritize God in all our ways, and God will prioritize us as far as prioritizing the needs we have and provide those needs. But at the same time, he will help us, lead us towards our purpose. But we have to seek God with a pure heart and ask him for understanding, for him to give it to us. I love you, but Jesus loves you more. Seek him today. God bless you.